Right, welcome to your math session for today, where we are going to continue our work with height. So last week it was all about the length. This week we are learning all about height. Pip's come to join us for this session to see what we're learning about. So let's really impress her with how good we are at counting in tens. So you practiced last week, we practiced yesterday. So let's show her how brilliant we are. But don't forget, when we say the numbers, make sure that we are saying them properly. Okay, so 20, 30, and so on. So are we ready? Follow the pointer and say the number that I point to. Off we go. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. This time do it on your own. You ready? Okay, well done. I'm going to keep my pointer on the number 100 because what I want us to do now is I would like us to have a go at counting backwards in 10. So you just counted forwards. Now we're going to have a go at counting backwards. Are we ready? So follow the pointer and say the number. So 100, 90, 80, 70, 60, 50, 40, 30, 20, 10. Well done to you. Now we're going to keep practicing that. So don't worry if we went a little bit too fast for you. We will keep practicing. Okay, but let's move on to today's lesson. And we're going to be thinking about height, like I said. So let's start off like we always do with our learn its. So 1 add 1 equals 2. 2 add 1 equals 3. 8 add 2 equals 10. 2 add 3 equals 5. 2 add what equals 10? Good. 2 add 8. 2 add 2 equals 4. 3 add 7 equals 10. 4 add 4 equals 8. Good. 7 add 3 equals 10. 1 add 9 equals 10. 9 add 1 equals 10. Good. Remember, all we did there was we switched the numbers. 5 add 5 equals 10. 2 add 8 equals 10. Missing number. 1 add what equals 10? Good. 1 add 9. 6 add what equals 10? 6 add 4. Good. 3 add 3 equals 6. 4 add 6 equals 10. 9 add what equals 10? 9 add 1. Good. 0 add 10 equals 10. 4 add something equals 10. Good. 4 add 6. 8 add what equals 10? Good. 8 add 2. 7 add what equals 10? 7 add 3. Good. 10 add 0 equals 10. 3 add what equals 10? Good. 3 add 7. 10 add something equals 10. 0. Good. 6 add 4 equals 10. 0 add something equals 10. 0 add 10. Good. So keep practicing those because you are getting much more confident with them and much quicker at knowing the answers. So well done to you. Now, with our maths lesson today, we are estimating the height of objects. So for us to be able to do that, we need to look carefully. So we need to have our careful looking eyes. We need to choose some objects to measure them with. Okay, I'll talk to you more about that in just a moment. And then you're going to estimate. Now, I know that we've used the word estimate before, but I wonder if anyone can remember what it actually means. I think, what does estimate mean? Good, it means using what you know and to have a clever guess. So we are guessing, but we have to really think about it and use the information that we already know and the knowledge that we already know to give it a good guess. Okay, so we're not just choosing any old number or any old guess. Okay, We really need to think about it. So we can use different things to measure how tall something is, just like when you were measuring how long things were. We can use cubes, we can use Duplo, we can use Lego, we can use Mega Blocks. And because you're at home, you can also use other things. And I was just thinking and looking around my house, and I thought I could use tins to measure something because I can stack tins. Okay, but you have to use the same thing to measure the whole height of something. Okay, so I couldn't use one Lego block and two Duplo blocks. I couldn't use those and say, oh, the thing I've measured is 3 blocks tall, because they're not the same, are they? So the whole thing needs to be the same. So if I was using Duplo, I would need to measure the whole of the object using Duplo. Okay, now it doesn't matter that they're different colours, but they all are exactly the same size. So these ones have all got the 8 holes on the top. They are all the same size. Same with my Lego blocks. Okay, they're all different colours. That doesn't matter, but each block is the same size. Okay, my tins are the same size, and the Mega Blocks are the same size as well. Okay, so we're going to use the cubes this time to measure how tall this teddy is. So we've got the teddy, you can see the teddy, and you can see one cube. Now the cube is right at the bottom of the teddy's feet. So have a look at it and have a think, and then you're going to estimate how many cubes tall do you think this teddy is? So either put the number in your head or you can write it down, but you're just going to estimate. Okay, how many do you think? Say the number. Okay, I could hear someone say 3. I could hear someone say 10. I hear 5. Okay, so how are we going to find out how tall this teddy is? What are we going to do? We've estimated, but now we need to check and we need to actually measure how tall it is. All right, so I'm looking very closely at the teddy and the cube, and we're going to measure exactly how tall it is. And I've got to go to the top of the teddy's head. Okay, so it's at the bottom of his feet. So there's our first cube. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so the teddy is 5 cubes tall. Okay, did anybody estimate right? I definitely heard somebody say 5, so well done to those people who were close. If you didn't get the answer 5, it doesn't matter because we're just estimating. But if you were close to 5, well done to you. If you were a very long way away from 5, when you do your next one, just have a think and look very closely and see if you can get your estimate even closer. Okay, so let's have a practice. So I've got an old rocking horse here, and we're going to use the cubes again. And I want us to estimate how tall we think this rocking horse is. So I've just put a little note at the bottom to say, remember, you need to measure from the bottom of the object and measure to the top of the object. So how many cubes tall do you think this rocking horse is? So have a think, write your estimate down or just say it out loud to your grown-up, and then we are going to check. So this is the size of the cubes. How many cubes tall do you think this rocking horse is? Okay, so say your numbers. I can hear some 3s, I can hear some 4s, some 8s. Okay, let's see, shall we? So we're going to check now. So we've estimated. Now we're going to check. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 cubes tall. Okay, now can you see we've gone right from the bottom of the rocking horse right to the top of the rocking horse. And I've used the same cubes each time. And I use the same cubes to measure the teddy as well. All right, so remember, estimating, you are just having a sensible guess, because what you're going to have a go at doing now is you're going to have a go at choosing 4 objects from your house. Now, you don't need to print this off. You can just write them down on a piece of paper. Now, you can't see it very well, so maybe if I go back onto the shared screen, you'll be able to see it better. So let's go down to the bottom. Let's find it. Here we go. Okay, so you need to choose 4 objects from your house, and you need to decide what you are going to use to measure the height of them. Now, you need to measure each one with the same thing. So if you choose Duplo, you need to use the Duplo to measure all 4 objects. If you're going to use Lego, you need to use Lego for each of the 4 objects. Okay, now be sensible as well, because if you're going to measure the height of a table, do you think you want to be using Lego? So have a think about that as well. Okay, so you're going to choose 4 different things, and you need to write down what you have chosen to measure them with. So is it tins? Is it Duplo? Is it Lego? Is it something else? If you've got little storage boxes maybe that are all the same, okay? Write it down. Write down the object that you are measuring, and before you measure it, you must estimate how tall you think it is. So next to the picture that you have drawn of what you're measuring, or the word, you're going to write down your estimate. Then you are going to check, and you are going to measure exactly how tall it is. Okay, and then there are just 2 questions at the bottom that I want you to answer. Which, once you've done all 4 and you've estimated and you've checked, which object is the tallest and which object is the shortest? Okay, so that's your task for today. So then once you've done it, you can come back and you can have a look at the secure it question. Okay, so go and have fun, and I'm looking forward to hearing your results. Okay, off you go. Right, hopefully you had a good time doing that, and hopefully you were very careful with your measuring. So well done to you for doing that. Now, I've got a secure it question here, and it's a true or false question. So we've got a sunflower here, and we've got some cubes, and we've got 5 cubes. And the sentence says, the sunflower is 5 cubes tall. So remember what we said about what we need to do when we measure something. I want you to decide, is this true or is it false? So if you think the sunflower is 5 cubes tall, you're going to say, I think it is true. And you're going to give me a reason, because if you don't think the sunflower is 5 cubes tall, you're going to say, I think it is false, because, and then you are going to give me a reason. Okay, so have a good time doing that. Really think carefully. You don't have to write it down if you don't want to. What you can do is you can just tell a grown-up instead. But what you need to make sure that you do is you need to look really carefully and really think about what we need to do when we measure something. Okay, well done everybody for a super lesson.